show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. There behind the glass, there's a real blade of grass. Be careful as you pass. Move along, move along. Come inside, and show you the song. Guaranteed to bring you along.
And a good Tuesday morning to you. Once again, it's another edition of the Dave Michael Sports Show. And we're so glad you joined us this morning on this Tuesday. Though, for some, it's probably not a great Tuesday. For some, we're probably still in mourning. Some of us are mourning more than others. And not just because of the Texas Rangers not advancing to the postseason for this year. And frankly, after what was seen last night at the Rangers ballpark in Arlington, or as I like to call it, the little ballpark out there, David Price for the Tampa Bay Rays was in fuego. He was on fire and did a great job. And so, for what it's worth, I tip my hat to the Texas Rangers, and we say thank you for a great 2013 season. And for the first time in 4 years, you're not going to the playoffs, and that's heartbreaking. People are going to second guess Ron Washington all off season long. They're going to question the fact that he threw a rookie out there for a starting pitcher. They're going to question the fact that, Nelly Cruz missed 50 games because of his suspension by Major League Baseball. They bring him back and bat him 6 as a DH, and he goes 0 for 4 and the final out of the game. These are questions that are going to be pointed fingers at, and they're going to talk to Ron Washington about between now and February. Frankly, I like his standard answer, which is, that's how baseball go. Because that's how it does go. You cannot, they win 7 in a row to get to that point. They won 7 after a horrible September. Horrible September. They come and they are winning games. Now, they won against teams they're supposed to win against. They swept the Astros, they swept the Angels, and those are the teams you're supposed to beat. And they beat them 7 in a row. They took 4 from the Astros. No, they took 3 from the Astros and 4 from the Angels to end the season. And it culminated to the fact that Texas, the Rangers, they had to rely on what might have happened in Toronto. Had Toronto beat Tampa Bay on the final day of the season, the Rangers would have gone to Cleveland on Wednesday. Everything would have been hunky and dory, and they would have played a 1 game against Cleveland. As it stood, they had to play the 163rd game because they ended up in a tie. And they had to come to Texas, they being the Tampa Bay Rays, after flying all night and getting a bit of a rest on Monday during the day. They walked into the ball yard and they outpitched, outhit, outfielded the Texas Rangers. And so those guys that wear the red, white, and blue for the home team, they're packing up their lockers today, and they're getting golf dates set up and family traditional vacations and what have you. And we'll see them back in February when they head out to surprise Arizona for pitchers and catchers making their first day. However, there is still mourning going on. This is more serious mourning because yesterday morning, word came out of Austin, Texas, that one of the humblest guys you'll ever meet, one of the guys who never ever portrayed himself as, I am the man, I am the guy who did this. He never did that. He was so unassuming, so quiet. And I had an opportunity to meet him, and for at the time, a 10-year-old sitting in the Cotton Bowl on a January 1st day, watching the Texas Longhorns go up against the fabled Golden Domed Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. and their quarterback named Joe Theismann. And here's a guy, Jim Street. He was known as, he was. For his entire life, we always called him James. I don't think we ever called him Jim. But he set in motion. Here's a guy that started 20 games for the University of Texas Longhorns and didn't lose one at quarterback. But as he would put it, and as he would say it, and he said it numerous and sundry of times, all I did was hand the ball off to a bunch of faster guys. And he did. Because let's face it, boys and girls, all he had was the wishbone offense. And for that wishbone offense, he handed the ball to Jim Burleson and Steve Wooster. He might have thrown the ball every once in a while to a guy named Cotton Spire. That was an incredible, incredible team. We're talking the 1969 national champions, which, by the way, this year, the 2013 year, they're actually celebrating the 50th anniversary of the first national championship at the University of Texas when they defeated Navy and a guy named Roger Staubach. And that team is celebrating their 50th anniversary of winning that national championship. But here's a guy that won the national championship in 1969. He went 20-0. The Texas Longhorns, by the way, went 30-0. Yeah, they won 30 games in a row before they got their next loss, which I believe was to Notre Dame. But nonetheless, James Street passed away yesterday at the age of 65 in Austin from an apparent heart attack. And a lot of us, and I have to go back to say that I had an opportunity to meet him, had an opportunity to talk to him, had an opportunity to meet his boys, Houston Street and the twins. He has 5 sons and he leaves a wife. But a lot of people don't know this about James Street, but James Street also played baseball. He's a 2-sport athlete. He played baseball, which was his first love, by the way. And he was picked up by the Cincinnati Reds. And in doing so, we thought he was going to have a promising baseball career, but that never developed. He was a pitcher for Texas, and he won the Southwest Conference title numerous times while being a pitcher. But he also threw 2 no-hitters. 2 no-hitters as a college pitcher. Now, that's pretty impressive. The loss of James Street is, it really is a ripple effect, because there's a lot of his teammates who looked upon him as the leader of the team. And you just don't fathom a guy that was as healthy as he was, and he wasn't sick. He was healthy as a horse. Felled by a heart attack. So, anyway, Longhorn Nation is mourning that loss. There's still rumbles at the University of Texas. You know, you get that piece of information, then the next one comes down the pike, and it's DeLoss Dodds announcing. Now, we already knew this, by the way, and we knew he was retiring. I thought it was already a done deal, to be honest with you. I figured at the end of the school year he was going to leave, but no. He says, I'm not leaving until August of 2014, which means, technically, Mack Brown has a job for a little bit longer, because DeLoss Dodds right now is his guardian angel, and he's keeping him in place right now. My theory, however, is when DeLoss Dodds actually does step down as the athletic director of the University of Texas, which he's been holding that job well over 25 years, I believe, well, let me rephrase that. I would think, it's not that what I believe. What I believe doesn't matter. What I think is I think that the University of Texas might offer the AD position to Mack Brown. Everybody says, no, he doesn't want that. But, you know, if you can still wear the burnt orange and be a part of the university in some capacity, and especially in the athletic department, why the hell not? So you leave the sidelines and you move up. Now, Darrell Royal was the AD for a number of years at Texas, as well as the head coach. So is Frank Broyles over at Arkansas, and I can go on and on and on. Now they have the separation. Now we have an AD and we have a football coach. Never the twain shall meet. Never the twain shall meet. All I'm saying right here, boys and girls, is the fact that, I think deep down in your soul, there's a lot of coaches out there that are looking for gigs. Lane Kiffin is one of them. If you're not familiar with that story, let's see. Here's a guy that loses to Arizona State, and somehow, some way, on the ride back from Arizona, the state of Arizona, that is, going back to California where the USC is, back in L.A., Pat Hayden, who's the athletic director of the University of Southern California, by the way. Pat Hayden, by the way, was the same guy that played quarterback for the L.A. Rams. He's also a Rhodes Scholar, mind you. Calls Kiffin into his office and says, have a seat. We're making some changes, and you ain't it. You're done. See ya. That must have been one hell of a plane ride. That must have been one long-ass plane ride. But all I can think of right now is the fact that, Lane Kiffin's out looking for a gig. The stories were surrounding the Mac Brown situation a couple of weeks ago where Tom Hicks flew out and talked to the agent of Nick Saban, along with some Board of Regents or whatever, or former Board of Regents, whatever the case may be. And they made an offer, or they were talking about making an offer to Nick Saban. And Saban said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'm too old, and I don't want to, I'm making $10 million a year, and I'm happy at Alabama. And besides that, I have 3 crystal balls compared to your 1 that you won in 2005. And then Tom Hicks has lunch with Mac Brown and asked him about stepping down and what have you. And he said, no. Mac Brown said, no. I'm staying right here, and I'm coaching the University of Texas. And that's the end of that subject. I don't know. It's a strange world that we live in nowadays. It truly is. It's way. What have you done for me today? Not what have you done for me lately. What have you done today? Today. Doesn't matter that, at some point we're having to deal with all sorts of, life itself is hard enough. But then you throw in this other cockamamie crap with social media and instant information and internet and all that, and whatever. The shocking thing, I say shocking. It might not be shocking to some. Earl Campbell, the 1977 Heisman Trophy winner, has an interview. He's interviewed by somebody in a TV station, as a matter of fact, down in Houston. And they asked him about his opinion about what's going on at the 40 acres in Austin. By the way, for those of you not familiar with that phrase, that's the University of Texas. And Campbell, who, by the way, won the Heisman in 77, only 2 players from the University of Texas have won that Heisman, and he's one of them. Ricky Williams was the other. And remember, Earl Campbell never played for Mac Brown. Earl Campbell played for Darrell Royal. But the question was brought to him and asked him, what do you think should happen? And Earl Campbell said on television, I think Mac Brown should step down before he's forced out. I know Earl Campbell's a special assistant to the athletic director of the University of Texas, but those are strong words. Politically speaking, I think I would have said something to the fact, if I was Earl Campbell, was, it's not my decision to make. I believe it's up to the athletic director and the Board of Regents at the University of Texas, maybe even the school's president. But me personally, I don't have an opinion on it. That's what I would have said. They pressed him, and he answered the question. Now, I will say this about Earl. he says what he means, and he means what he says. So I can't knock that. I can't knock that comment. When we come back, we will discuss other things. Maybe the Texas Rangers a little more, the Dallas Cowboys for certain, and a reminder about what's going on Thursday night out at the Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe. All that coming your way right here on the Dave Michael Sports Show on the North Texas Sports Network. Lone Star. Those two words mean so much to Texans. It's a way of life. It's pride. It means quality. Lone Star State Cigars. They understand all that those words mean. You can buy one of their 4 locations, 2 in Allen, 1 in Plano, and 1 up in Richardson. See what pride and quality and way of life means. Lone Star State Cigars. You can find them on the web as well at LoneStarStateCigars.com. Way of life, the pride, and the quality all under one banner. The Lone Star. Lone Star State Cigars. Once you come in, you'll understand, partner. Spring is in the air, and with that comes the age-old tradition of having the backyard barbecues. When you invite friends over, enjoy the ease and the convenience of serving those friends on items from the Pampered Chef. The catalog is chock full of great outdoor serving items that are built to be used by the grill or by the pool. How about when you have to go to others' houses? It would be nice to be able to transport those delicious dishes with ease. The Pampered Chef. Give Shelly and Danny Wiley a call and let them help you put together your very own Pampered Chef party. Call them at 214-808-7402. Find them on the web as well at pamperedchef.biz/Shelly Can Cook. That's Shelly, Shelley, Can Cook. And see how easy it is to be a part of something fun and useful. There's also a way to help with your school or your charity event as well. Give Shelly a call, 214-808-7402, and start finding the chef in you. The Pampered Chef.
The 78th annual AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic is just 12 months away. Be sure to get your tickets to this American classic by going to the website of the AT&T Cotton Bowl, www.attcottonbowl.com, and reserve your seats for next year's game. What a great gift idea for the sports fan in your family. Enjoy the atmosphere of college football in one of the premier stadiums in the country, Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. The 78th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic next January of 2014. Don't miss it.
Sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for my daughter. I tried her cell phone, but I keep getting her voicemail. Is she here?
She was, but the girls borrowed my car, and they said they were going to spend the night at your house. Let me find out exactly where they are.
How?
By logging on to my Locate One Plus GPS tracking system.
Locate One Plus?
Yeah. When the kids started driving, I wanted to protect the 2 most valuable things in my life, my family and my car. Thanks to Locate One Plus, I just log on using a computer or smartphone, and it shows me where my car is, real time, and where it's been. I found them. They've been at the movie theater since 7:50.
Wow, I really need to get Locate One Plus.
Call Locate One Plus now at 800-259-3854. Protect your family and vehicle from danger and theft with Locate One Plus real-time speed and location monitoring. Call now for your free information. 800-259-3854. That's 800-259-3854.
Here on the Dave Michael Sports Show, October the 1st. Doesn't feel like it yet. It's not cold enough, but it is October. That means the sun's going down a little bit sooner than normal, and fairly soon we'll be out of daylight savings and back into standard time, which means it'll be dark by 5:30, which is great if you're a high school football player, because then it's a little cooler. Hey, I was before I jump off this NCAA thing, I just here we are 1 month into the season. And already 2 coaches are gone from the Division I side. Let's face it, when you go 0 and whatever, and in this particular case 0 and 4, I don't think UNC. I think USC won maybe 2 games in the month. But in any case, we talked about Lane Kiffin being gone from USC. The other one was Paul Pasqualini from UConn. And if you're a ball player, I mean, if you're a college ball player, and you're recruited by these guys, because they're the guys that come into your living room and they talk to your mom and your dad and they convince you to travel to wherever it is. If you don't live in the area, especially, and if you're being recruited in for instance, at USC, say you play high school ball up in the Bay Area, up near San Francisco, Oakland, all that, and you're traveling down to LA, and now the guy who recruited you is gone. Same for UConn. If you're in the Connecticut area, New York area, or anywhere in the Northeast, and I mean, it's not that far of a drive, but face it, going to UConn it's pretty impressive. But the guy who brought you in there is now gone. So as a ball player, how do you feel? That's tough. It's no different than when a coaching change, and we've seen it before. We've seen coaches fired, and what was really odd is, managers in baseball got fired mid-season, during the season. We're kind of accustomed to that. Hockey coaches are fired during the season. We're used to that. Basketball coaches even. But football coaches not so much. And the reason being is because there's not that many games. I mean, in the college ranks, you got 12 games? In the pro ranks, you have 16. By the way, that might be expanded, according to Roger Goodell. We might lose a preseason game and add it to the regular season. Well, you went from 16 to 17 games. Hello? I don't know, man. I'm still a firm believer that the 4 preseason, back in the day when the preseason was actually an exhibition season, it provided a couple of things for the coaches. One, for the league itself, an exhibition game that was not played within your home stadium. It's exactly what it was. It was an exhibition game. It was a game between 2 teams that were trying to think about moving a franchise to another part of the country. I remember the Cowboys playing, I think it was the Green Bay Packers, and they played in Memphis, Tennessee. For no other reason other than we're thinking about putting a franchise somewhere in Tennessee, which eventually they did. Nashville, we know what's going on there. But this is back in the 60s, people. It's also an evaluation for the coaches to look upon players that are literally auditioning for a job. So now you're going to cut one of those audition jobs away to satisfy the coffers. This is when, what's the old adage? Money is the root of all evil. And when you look at money through that eye and you see that there's a cash cow at the end, somewhere along the line you're going to stumble and fall and fail. Somewhere along the line, I mean, we've seen it happen. We had the lockout in the NBA. We had the lockout in the NHL. We had the lockout in the NFL. We've had a strike in Major League Baseball and a lockout. So my question to you is, when are you going to learn? When are you going to learn that, we need the money. Do you really need the money that badly? Do you need the money to that extent? I mean, I realize you got to pay the bills. I get it. But really, seriously, you want to put you want to put your product at risk when you do this. You want to put your product at risk by not having an extra game, by eliminating that game. Now you're telling your coaches you only have 3 games to evaluate these players, and then you've got to cut them. Man, maybe I am old school. Maybe the time has passed me by. But I think that if you're here's a good example. You're a undrafted free agent. You only have really 2 games 2 games to prove yourself so you're not cut. That's not enough time. If you're a player coming back from a surgery during the off season, is 3 games enough for you to get game ready? Back in the day, there were 6 preseason games and 14 regular season games. We had 20 games total. They took away 2 games from the preseason and inserted them into the regular season. Hence the reason why there's now 4 preseason games and 16 regular season games. Yeah, that happened not too long ago. I mean, that's maybe 30, 35 years ago. 40 years ago, maybe. But you see my point. They had... And again, the 6 games, they were exhibition games. They traveled they were barnstorming. Hell, these kids today don't even know what that word means, barnstorming. But that's what the NFL did. You know, back in the day, they didn't have 32 teams. And there were 2 leagues. There was the NFL and the AFL. Remember, the merge didn't happen until 43 years ago. When Lamar Hunt and Tex Schramm and you know, 2 Texans sitting there in a restaurant, mapping it all out, and then going to, and I believe at the time the commissioner of the AFL was Al Davis, and the commissioner of the NFL was Pete Rozelle, and they got everybody into a room after Lamar Hunt and Tex Schramm hammered it out and presented it, and that's how the merger was put in place. And by the way, I don't know if any of you remember this. 3 teams from the NFL had to go to the AFC when that merge was completed. And if you know who the originals were, you know, that's impressive. But just kind of, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag on this one. It was then the Baltimore Colts, now the Indianapolis Colts, but the Baltimore Colts, the Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers were all original NFL teams that shifted and went to the AFC. Now, since then, Seattle, which was an original AFC team, originally was AFC, became part of the NFC. They switched sides. It's so they could balance it out. It's no different than when the Milwaukee Brewers left the American League and went to the National League. And since then, Houston Astros, which were in the National League, are now the American League team in baseball. Switch around. The only thing grateful about the Astros being in the American League West is the fact that the Texas Rangers now have at least 30 games in the Central Time Zone. Without having to travel out west, we get to see games that actually start at 7:05. Speaking of baseball, you know, we talked about the Rangers losing. It's the end of the season. Do you have a fond memory of this past season with the Rangers? I do. Playing against the Angels, a series against the Angels back early in the year. Not 1, not 2, but 3. 3 walk-off home runs to end the games. 3 times the Rangers homered. 3 times they walked off in the bottom half of their inning to win the game. Never seen that before. Incredible. Yu Darvish, first outing against the Houston Astros down in Minute Maid. 1 out away, 1 strike away from a perfect game. He goes 8 2/3 before he gives up the hit. And the Rangers win. How about opening night when the Rangers lost to the Houston Astros? Didn't see that one coming. But game 2, Yu Darvish, incredible pitching performance. And he did it again. I mean, it wasn't just that one time. We saw him do it a couple of times. Seeing Yu Darvish pitch was very much like watching Nolan Ryan pitch. You just never knew what you were going to get. And then he blows up at his catcher, AJ Przinsky. Then he no longer is, Przinsky's no longer catching him. Now it's Soto. And everybody warned us about his prima donna attitude. You know, I think if there's only one person in that clubhouse that can control that, his name is Ron Washington. with or without an interpreter, by the way. So, but what an incredible baseball season for the Texas Rangers. They were fun to watch. I mean, yeah, you talk about the slump that they went through in September, but you know what? For the most part, they were a fun team to watch. Despite Nelly Cruz and despite all that crap, I enjoyed it. I thought they were fun. I enjoyed watching Ranger baseball. But then again, for those of you that know me well enough to know, I live, die, eat, breathe, sleep Texas Ranger baseball. Or baseball just in general. I love the game. Playoffs are coming up. That's going to be fun. In the meanwhile, however, if you're a Texas Ranger fan, if you're a Texas Ranger ball player, yeah, well, make those golf tee times available and you're cleaning out your locker. Sucks. But that's the way baseball go. So it's been said many times. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more. We've got a lot on our plate, including the Dallas Cowboys lose to the San Diego Chargers, but they have the Denver Broncos coming up Sunday at AT&T Stadium. All that coming your way right here on the Dave Michaels Sports Show on the North Texas Sports Network.
Remember when you were in high school? The after-the-game parties, the dances that were held in the school gym? Well, those days are long gone, just like saddle Oxfords and bobby socks, but the partying, well, that continues. A reminder that it is still against the law to drink while underage. There's a reason why lawmakers put the legal age to drink at 21. It's to protect you from yourself. It's hard enough that adults drink and drive. Why put yourself in danger? Don't drink and drive. It could save a life. Yours. A message from the Ad Council and Dave Radio Productions.
Casa, translation, house, home. A new casa, a new home for Mexican food, right along the service road of the President George Bush Turnpike and Jupiter Road. Casa Cha-Cha. All your favorites are there, along with Pollo a la Parrilla, which is their grilled chicken with 3 different sauces to choose from. Their fajitas are tender and juicy. Their enchiladas are just how Mama used to make them. Stop by and say hello to Ruben and Rosa. They will welcome you into their casa and make you feel right at home. Casa Cha-Cha, 190 in Jupiter on the eastbound service road, next door to Renegade Cigars.
Hi, this is Dave Michaels.
And this is Doc Morefield.
Join us for Richardson ISD Sports. We cover all 4 high schools in the RISD.
Catch football, basketball with the Burton Rams, the Lake Highland Wildcats, the Richardson Eagles, and the Pierce Mustangs. We have it all for you right here on Dave Radio Productions.
All you have to do is log on to davradioproductions.com and click to listen to any game live or archive. So come on, what are you waiting for?
If you missed the game, that's all right. You can go back and listen to any broadcast all year long on davradioproductions.com. The one place to hear it all.
Dave Radio Productions. Our business is to drive business to your business.
Football fans, now you have something to wear that shows off your team spirit. It's not a shirt. It's not your average hat. This is a Spirit hat. It's shaped like a star, but it also doubles as a beverage and food tray. The Spirit Star hat is unique that not everyone has one, at least not yet, but they are available online at SpiritStarHat.com. That's SpiritStarHat.com. Order yours today so you can have it by game day, and a portion of every purchase is being donated to the Gridiron Heroes Foundation. So wear something cool, help those that forge this great game of football, and cheer on your favorite team, the Spirit Star Hat. We're right back here on the Dave Michaels Sports Show on a Tuesday morning, October the 1st, 2013. The day after the Texas Rangers lose the one-game play-in, the playoff game. Really wasn't a playoff game. It was just another regular season game, so all the stats counted toward the regular season. But the morning after, and a lot of people are jumping off ships and buildings. No, I'm kidding. It's just baseball, people. It's just baseball. However, it's just football. It's just football. Dallas Cowboys go out west. They take on the San Diego Chargers last Sunday afternoon, and they lose after having a lead. And they lose. Not a pretty sight. Before I get into that, a reminder, see how I can just kind of segue that in there? A reminder that on this Thursday night, Corey Proctor, former Dallas Cowboy lineman, and myself will be at the Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe. We'd love to see you there. And you can come out and you can even ask questions get autographs, have your picture taken. Last week we had Isaiah Stanback, the former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver, the former New York Giant, and he brought some bling with him. If you haven't gone to my Facebook page, I suggest you do so. Because I don't even need a close-up of this thing. Truly, I don't. That thing was the size of a hubcap. That was big. Anyway, he brought out his Super Bowl ring, and it was quite impressive. Quite impressive. Now, granted, it says NY on it, so I mean, it's a New York Giant, but I mean, it's a Super Bowl ring. That's impressive. I don't care what team you play for. And grant you, I mean, I've seen the Cowboys Super Bowl rings. I've seen all 5 of them. If you look at the very first Super Bowl ring that the Cowboys won when they beat the Miami Dolphins, 24-3, down in Tulane Stadium, the old Sugar Bowl. When you look at that ring, it's very, I mean, it's just simple. It's a star with a blue sapphire right smack dab in the middle of it. And that star's made of diamonds, but it's got that blue sapphire right in the middle of it. The second Super Bowl in 77, when they beat the Denver Broncos, again in New Orleans, this time at the Superdome, it has 2 stars done in diamonds with 2 sapphires. Simple and elegant. White gold. Then they win 27, 28, and 30, and they become hubcaps. These things are huge. So I'm just saying, every Super Bowl ring I've seen since then is incredible. But let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys' demise in San Diego. In the beginning of the game, I saw a lot, and I'll be repeating this on Thursday night, by the way, with Corey Proctor. We'll talk about it more at length, and we'll get into more of the X's and O's. But I saw things that, the first thing I noticed is that Jason Witten was not part of the offensive scheme in the first half. In fact, he wasn't part of the offensive scheme for the first 3 quarters. In fact, he didn't get a catch. He didn't get a catch until the 4th quarter. Now, how unusual is that Jason Witten's not involved in your game plan until the 4th quarter? Then there was, oh my goodness, late in the game, Cowboys driving. They need a score. Romo to the rookie, Terrence Williams, gets inside the 5-yard line and tries to stretch the ball across the goal line. You are 4 yards away, young man. You don't have a 4-yard reach. And he holds the ball out, and before he touches the ground, a guy slaps the ball out of his hand. Fumble, recovered, in the end zone, touchback. They take the ball to the 20-yard line, and, oh, wait a minute, they score. Rookie mistake. I think Terrence Williams will get better. Miles Austin has got to get healthier. Here's a young man, everybody talked about how great he was a couple of years ago against the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, he almost single-handedly, if not did single-handedly, win that game for the Dallas Cowboys against the Kansas City Chiefs. So here's Jerry Jones in his infinite way saying, "Good job, young man, let me give you some money." And he gives him a hell of a raise. But since then, what has happened? He's been injured. Constantly. He's a great talent, don't get me wrong, but if you're not on the football field, you can't do anything for the team. So that leaves it up to Dez Bryant. We know that Dez has been playing nicked up. He's got that back injury. He's dealing with spasms. Had a heck of a game. Was a beast in the first 2 quarters. 2 touchdowns. But the fact is, where'd he go? And again, DeMarco Murray, I love the fact that you ran the ball, but you only gave me 70 yards. DeMarco Murray needs to have at least a 100-yard day for this team to win. Why? Well, if I'm chewing up 100 yards on the ground, plus, 100 yards plus on the ground, that means the defense on the other side of the ball is having to watch for the run. That opens up the what? Yes, the play action pass, because now you can sell it. Oh, here comes DeMarco. Oh, wait a minute, he doesn't have the ball. We're out of position. There's the ball going over our head. It's going in the hands of somebody else, and he's down the field and he's scored a touchdown. That's as simplistic as it gets, people. There is no magic here. If you can't run the ball, if you can't have a balanced offense, you're not going to win football games. I mean, look at a lot of different teams that have running games. They're winning. I'm just saying. But again, on Thursday night with Corey Proctor, he and I will break this all down. We'll also talk about the upcoming game against the Denver Broncos. I suggest that if you're not a Denver Bronco fan, that you might well be after that game. Because Peyton Manning and the aerial show, the aerial circus that is the Denver Broncos right now, they're coming to town. And they're going to be playing at AT&T Stadium, and good luck. I said this was an 8-8 ball club, and right now, I'm looking like a genius. I'm looking like, and Brian McGee, if you're listening, that cigar is starting to look really, really good right now. But that being said, the Denver Broncos coming to town. This is a game that if you're not a Denver Bronco fan, you will be after this game. I've always liked the Denver Broncos. I always thought they were a cool team. Back in the days of Elway and Terrell Davis, I like them. Good team. But this is ridiculous. I mean, Peyton Manning's going to throw the ball to the water boy. He's going to score a touchdown. It doesn't matter. This guy is incredible. Now, here's the other side of that coin. As good as Peyton Manning is, as good as that offense is, what about their defense? Mike Ditka said something that has been said true. I mean, it's about as, you have Aristotle, you've got Socrates, who were great philosophers, and you have Vince Lombardi, who once said, defense wins you championships. Hello? It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. The Cowboy defense is real suspect right now. They've got a lot of injuries. Ware's injured. Spencer's injured. Ratliff is injured. Sean Lee, a beast, but then he gets burned. Has a pick six for 52 yards, gets burned later in the game. Mo Claiborne sitting on the bench now. He's being benched. They're bringing in Skandrick. So the defense on the defensive side of the ball for the Dallas Cowboys is suspect. I said the offensive line was suspect. Now it's the defense. You're not going to win a lot of ball games if this is the problem, boys and girls. You've got to make it count. And to this moment, I don't know how to fix it. I personally don't know how to fix it. And if I sure as hell don't know how to fix it, I hope Jerry Jones, who is a much smarter man than I, does. If you want to be the general manager of this team, you better find some guys that can fill the holes. Because somewhere along the line, we're missing out. Cowboys, again, I think it's a late game too. I think it's a 3:45 start, a 3:30 start for the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. And then the following week is a Sunday night game at AT&T Stadium with the Washington Redskins, which, by the way, won a game Sunday when they beat the Oakland Raiders. You want to talk about a team that looks pretty bad? Let's talk about the Oakland Raiders. They had a lead at home, and they lost. You're not supposed to do that. Cowboys losing on the road, not so bad, but I got a feeling this Sunday when they play the Denver Broncos, that might be a loss at the home field. It's going to be kind of hard to deal with. I'm just saying. I love my boys. I think they're great. My friend Ronnie Moore, who, by the way, I'll be on Thursday with the Drive, Thursday afternoon at 4:15 on KCLE ESPN Radio in Cleburne, Texas. Ronnie Moore and Chad Dixon have me on about 4:15 in the afternoon. And Ronnie just said, can we just hand the Super Bowl trophy right now to the Denver Broncos? No, Ronnie, they still have to play football. Here's the deal. They might get to the playoffs. They might even make it to the AFC Championship game. They might even win it. They might be in the Super Bowl, but I don't know if they'll win the championship because whoever they're going to be playing against, they might have a better defense. And this is not going to be a game where you have to, it's not going to be arena football. It's not going to be coming out there and seeing who can score last. Denver can get shut down. You can shut them down. You just got to be a little bit smarter than the other guy. And that other guy's name is Manning. He's a damn good quarterback, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying. He says it won't be pretty. No, it won't. Not going to be pretty at all. But we'll see. What will be pretty though right now is we're pretty much going to step away because we pretty much have to pay the bill. And we pretty much have ads to do that. So let's do that. This is the Dave Michael Sports Show along the North Texas Sports Network. Stick around. We got a lot more coming your way.
Autumn. The sound of that word conjures up images of leaves changing colors, crisp chill in the evenings, pumpkins, and pigskin. Yep, it's football season once again. And what better way to tailgate than with cooking items from the Pampered Chef? The ease in which you can order and the quality of the products are almost too good to be true. And since it is that time of season when high schools and boosters are looking for ways to raise money, check out Pampered Chef's charity and fundraising. It's much more than just selling wrapping paper or popcorn. Pampered Chef delivers quality products that are used day in and day out for your home. Call Shelley Wiley at 214-808-7402 for more information, or email her at shelleycancook@yahoo.com. Let's bring out the chef in you, the Pampered Chef.
You're in business, you have your business plan, and you have executed it. However, you're missing something that will drive business to you. What could it be? Well, it might be your website. That's right. You realize you have the domain name, you know you have the information on it, but is it really connecting to your buying public? Hi, I'm Dave Michaels. I know about small business and I know about marketing. And the most important part of promotion and marketing your business is getting the word out. Your website is an extension of your marketing. So let Business Computers help you. They're Texas born and Texas raised, and they know what it takes to help businesses be successful. Give them a call and let them be a part of your team. Business Computers Incorporated, 713-229-0030. That's 713-229-0030. Business Computers Incorporated. Find them on the web at businesscomputersincorporated.com. Business Computers Incorporated.
Are you a true sports fan? I mean the type of fan that will go to great lengths to catch their team on TV. The type of fan that will paint their body, wear their team colors, scream at the TV when the ref blows a call. Are you the type of fan that likes to be with other fans that are just as passionate? Well, how about the Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe in Richardson? Right off of Plano Road in Arapahoe, a neighborhood sports grill with great area to watch games on NFL Sundays. All you can eat for one price, $8, and you get burgers, brats, and hot dogs. One price all day long, all you can eat. Not to mention all the NFL action you can handle. Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe. Check them out. Plano Road in Arapahoe and Richardson, the home of the radio show Silver Flash and Blue Thunder with Corey Proctor and Dave Michaels. Thursday nights, 7 to 8 p.m. Come on out and be a part of the crowd. Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe.
You've come here with a skull full of mush, and if you survive, you leave here thinking like sports fans. Keep it tuned to Dave Michaels of the Sports Show on the North Texas Sports Network.
Right back here on the Dave Michael Sports Show on the North Texas Sports Network on a Tuesday. And we're talking about all sorts of things sports related, but the important part is we're having fun. It's always the fun part, right? Always have fun. That's what my daddy always said. Don't care what you do, just as long as you have fun. So we have a lot of fun. As we get into October, a couple of things I want to remind you all. Aside from Silver Flash and Blue Thunder at the Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe on Thursday evening from 7 to 8, and also don't forget that Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, 4:15ish, you can tune in to KCLE 1460 on your dial in Cleburne, Texas, the ESPN radio affiliate there. I'll be on with The Drive with Ronnie Moore and Chad Dixon, so be sure that you log on there. Coming up later this month, the 20th of this month, that's a Sunday. Is that right? 20th is a Sunday, yes. 20th to Sunday, the Allen Americans go back to the ice and defend their President's Cup championship, and the Allen Americans will open up their home schedule against Wichita. That will be at the Allen Event Center. Puck drops at 4:05. Tickets are available. Give them a shout. Find them on the web at allenamericans.com. My good friend, Tommy Daniels, their play-by-play guy, he also helps with their media relations and what have you. He and I have already talked, and he's already looking forward to a great season, and he's already twisted my arm and said, "You're going to plan on being up here and helping me with games, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I'll be there." So I'll make as many games as I can this year and see if the Allen Americans can maybe put another piece of hardware in the cabinet and get another ring. In the meanwhile, also on the 26th of October, that's a Saturday, that's a week later, at the new named Toyota Stadium, that's in Frisco, Texas. The Fire Against the Police, this is Guns and Hoses, this is Pigskin Championship 3 as they get ready for that game, and we are going to be on board with that as well. We'll be broadcasting it as well as doing some other stuff for them, but that game is at the Toyota Stadium. Tickets are available through Guns and Hoses. You got to spell it all out. Guns and Hoses, northtx.org. Get your tickets for that. Tickets are cheap. Tickets are available. And there's tailgating going on. There's all sorts of fun things happening on that Saturday out at the Toyota Stadium in Frisco. And I'm looking. You know what? I'm really looking forward to that because I've never broadcast from that stadium. So that'll be another stadium I can actually kind of put in my hat there and say that I've actually broadcast from Toyota Stadium in Frisco. It's. I was just thinking about that. I've broadcast from really cool places. I've broadcast from the ballpark in Arlington. I've broadcast from Old Texas Stadium, the Cotton Bowl, and the new stadium, AT&T Stadium, Ford Stadium down at SMU. So now here's my opportunity to do the stadium out in Frisco, also known as Toyota Stadium. That's what you get for getting naming rights. But that all will be fun, and I'm looking forward to that. So, again, tickets available. If you want tickets, you can find them online at Guns and Hoses, North Tex. You got to spell it all out. Guns and Hoses, northtx.org. And tickets are available there. And Fire, by the way, has got 2 wins in a row in this game. And by the way, so just to give you an idea about the talent that's going to be on the football field, we just did the boxing tournament. We know that these guys aren't real boxers. Some have boxing skill, and those were good fights, but and including some of the women. But the football talent, the football skill, they've got a guy. I think he plays for the police department, who is the former quarterback at the U. The U. That's the University of Miami. That's pretty freaking impressive. Just saying. But in any case, that's all happening on the 26th of October. Again, the 20th, Allen Americans get back in action. Tonight, the National Hockey League gets back in action tonight as well. And the banner gets raised in Chicago as the Blackhawks receive their rings. They get to raise the banner. And the NHL Stanley Cup champions defend that title this year. What an incredible... I'm sorry. Yeah, the lockout was not pretty. I get that. But you couldn't have asked for a better final. You could not have asked for a better final between the Boston Bruins and the Chicago Blackhawks. What a fantastic finish to that season. I mean, I became the hockey fan all over again just watching that series. That was an incredible series. And not to mention that earlier in May of last year, the Allen Americans won their championship on home ice, Game 7, against Wichita, in overtime. And by the way, I'll have to show. I'll have to do this. I actually have a piece of that net where the puck went into the back of the net. I have a piece of that net. It's hanging here in my house, and that is an incredible. You just don't have a clue how impressive that is. It's just, ew, get the goosebumps all over again. So they're going to be defending their title again. That starts on the 20th of October. By the way, the Allen Americans, and just kind of give you guys a little bit of ideas because if you've never heard of them before, they are a minor league hockey team. They are what would be considered Double-A for they're associated with the Dallas Stars and the Texas Stars down in Austin, which is the Triple-A. They're the American Hockey League. The Central Hockey League is just it's sort of like the Texas League for baseball. So Allen would be the equivalent of the Frisco Rough Riders, if you want to put it that way. But the difference between the Frisco Rough Riders and the Allen Americans? Not much. Not much. You get attached to these guys, you do. I mean, they know who you are, you call them friend, or whatever the case may be, and the next thing you know, see ya, gotta go. They're gone. So, be that as it is. But hockey starts tonight, and the Allen Americans get on the ice starting on the 20th. They just now put the ice down at the Allen Event Center. I was watching pictures of that being done. And so they've got that going on at the Event Center right now, where they're laying down the ice and putting all the ads on it. So that's always fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Did I miss anything as far as what's going on this weekend? It's a horrible weekend, by the way, if you're a sports fan in North Texas. Just a horrible weekend. Cowboys lose. Rangers are out of it. Texans lose down in Houston. Astros have the worst record in baseball. The Longhorns were off. That was the good news. They had a bye week. Now they got to take on Iowa State. They take on Iowa State, by the way. Iowa State and Texas play at 6:30. I believe that's Eastern time. I think it's a 5:30 kickoff our time. When they take on Iowa State and the Cyclones, the University of Texas, that's Thursday night. So we'll be at the Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe. I will be wearing burnt orange. You come out and be a part of not only the Texas-Iowa State game, but also Silver Flash and Blue Thunder. It's also a Thursday night football game going on. That's one of the questions I would love to ask Corey because, the Cowboys always played on Thursday because of Thanksgiving. But now every team is getting a chance to play on Thursday night. So how does that screw up your schedule? And, not just professional football, but college football. I mean, you guys have it in your mind that Saturday's game day. And now the NCAA and the NFL and MOUSC, whatever, they all are saying now you got to play on a Thursday. Wow. That's got to mess up your body clock. That's all I'm saying. It's got to mess up your body clock. In the meanwhile, as we always say this time of day, it is the fastest hour in radio. It truly is. We got to put this one in the history books. And before we do that, just a reminder, you can come out to the Lone Star Grill and Sports Cafe on Thursday night. Be a part of the live audience as we do Silver Flash and Blue Thunder. Corey Proctor and myself will have a special guest come out. And also on Thursday afternoon, about 4:15, you can tune in to KCLE 1460, and that's out of Cleburne, Texas, for The Drive. That's the ESPN Sports talk show with my friend Ronnie Moore and Chad Dixon. So make sure you log on and listen or tune in and listen at 4:15. For all of us, it's been great. We enjoy it. We'll do it again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. By the way, Friday night, we're out at Berkner. We're at the Wildcat Ram Stadium as the Berkner Rams take on the Jesuit Rangers. Kickoff is at 7:30. Pregame's at 7 o'clock. Just want to remind you, you can log on and listen to some good high school football. In the meanwhile, we'll see y'all next week. I'm Dave Michaels. So long for now.